Alrighty, hey there guys, Adrian Acosta here, aka Jetterbro95, coming at you guys with another video. And in this one, guys, it is going to be part 2, which is going to be talking about my Team Diamond predictions for the NFC. So, like I did in the AFC one, we're going to start off with the East and then go all the way down to the South. So we're going to start off in the NFC East for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm going to go with Deshaun Jackson. Gave them some decent years, three-time Pro Bowler, was one of the most electrifying receivers of the decade. Like for a long time, he was one of the most entertaining receivers in the league, one of the fastest. Got a lot of team chems as well. And he also does have a controversial Super Bowl ring. Some people think he shouldn't have it. Some people think he should. For the Cowboys, I'm going with Dez Bryant. I honestly, some of the other ones that I thought were going to be on this that I was going to consider was like Tony Romo, you know, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Jason Witten was another one, Travis Frederick. But I decided to go with Dez Bryant simply because, obviously with the way this game is, having the big receivers go up and make a play. But yeah, big definite like jump ball receiver was very, very good. We all know how good Dez Bryant was. By the way, he did catch it. Just gonna say that right now for the record on this video. He caught it. Anyways, moving on to the Giants, we have Antrell Roll. Now this one was a little confused on. I thought about somebody different, but I looked up Antrell Roll. You know what? He played he played a decent amount of years is as a Giant. So you know what? I'll let it slide. He had his best success with the Giants too. He was a two-time Pro Bowler and two-time All-Pro second team player. So I definitely like the idea of putting Antrell Roll at the Giants team builder. For the Commanders, I'm going with Chris Cooley. For some reason, they don't have his picture. But Chris Cooley played he played his entire career with the Commanders. Was never the biggest of names in any way, shape, or form, but was a sturdy tight end for them. He was a two-time Pro Bowler. So, definitely somebody there that I would like to see. Moving on to the NFC North, we have Dante Culpepper for the Vikings. Dante is interesting. I think, a lot of people like those quarterbacks that are probably going to be mobile. And, I would expect Dante Culpepper to be that. And led the league in yards per game, passing yards and completions in the same season. He led the league in touchdowns one year. Also led the league in touchdown percentage. Also led the league in picks one year with 23, which is disgusting. But yeah, no, I do like the idea of Dante Culpepper. You definitely could have made this like Randall Cunningham. Actually, Randall Cunningham would have probably been best for an Eagles one. Moving on to the Packers, I'm going with Donald Driver. This one was another one that was filled with ideas like, I could have absolutely went with Amon Green because he was last year's. I could have went with, Jermichael Finley. Another one was going to be, what's his name? The cornerback that picked off Matt Hasselbeck, Al Harris. Could have picked Al Harris, but I ultimately went with Donald Driver just because the Packers team probably does need another receiver. He's not the biggest of dudes, being 6'3", but he also gave the Packers a long time for his career. For the Bears, I'm going with Mike Singletary. Long career with them on that legendary '85 Bears defense. Two-time Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl champion, All Pro, like one of the greatest linebackers ever. Was just fantastic as a player overall. Definitely would like to see him get one. If maybe not him, I could see theoretically guys like Matt Forte getting one. Maybe some other wide receivers like Devin Hester, like some other players like Devin Hester could be one. Maybe you give one to Jay Cutler if they really want to. That I don't know, but I like the Mike Singletary one. Moving on for the Lions, we got Glover Quinn. For them, his best success was with the Lions. Was a solid contributor to that team throughout the mid 2010s. Just a shame that they didn't make it very far in the postseason when they did get there. But he was good, and he's also 6 foot tall, so he's going to be a little bit better back there than Quandre Diggs will be. So I do like the idea of Glover Quinn. LeGarrette Blunt is next for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, as I said in the AFC one, I thought about putting this one as a Patriot one, but Tampa Bay, in my opinion, is where his career did begin. So I would definitely go there. He definitely did have the most success with the Patriots, and I could theoretically see you say, yeah, he should be the Patriots team diamond, which I don't disagree. I wouldn't disagree with that, but I personally do like this. I do like the fact that I would rather say that he's a Tampa Bay one. For the Saints, I'm going with Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham, one of the best tight ends of the 2010s, was consistently a Pro Bowler, was an All Pro, was scoring touchdowns left, right, and center, getting like 16, averaging like 16 a game, leading the league, putting up ridiculously unheard of tight end receiving yard numbers at the time, or at least seemed like it. And then obviously traded to Seattle, had a few good seasons with Seattle, and then ultimately went to Green Bay, and then Chicago, and floundered out of the league, and he hasn't been back. He has not back in the league. So Falcons, we're gonna go with Roddy White, just because this one is something that I personally think, just because of the history, Roddy White does get a lot of cards with the Falcons. But had an All-Pro selection, led the league in receptions one year. Had really good receiving seasons, even though he was never considered a top receiver in the league, especially with Matt Ryan and that offense. For the Carolina Panthers, lastly for the NFC South, we're gonna go with Luke Kuechly. Retired young, but was still probably the second greatest linebacker of the 20. I shouldn't say probably the second greatest linebacker of the 2010s, only behind Bobby Wagner. And I will fight you if you disagree. But defensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, all pro selections. Like Luke Kuechly was one of the greatest, is one of the greatest linebackers ever. Such a shame that he just retired so young and his career was cut short due to concussions and injuries. But make no mistake, he was fantastic. Lastly, for the NFC West, we're going to start with the Niners. We're going to go with Steve Young for the San Francisco 49ers. Was going to make this Joe Montana, but then I remembered he's actually in the game already as an All Madden drop. So, who very well knows. By the way, as the recording of this video, it is Steve Young's birthday. So, happy birthday to Steve Young. I don't know why I just happened to notice that, but yep, it is Steve Young's birthday. So, happy birthday to Steve Young. But, two-time MVP, three-time Super Bowl champion with the Niners. Multiple All-Pros, Offensive Player of the Year winner in 1992. Was a great quarterback, one of the greatest dual-threat quarterbacks ever. Led the league in completion percentage so many years. 5, to be in fact. He led the league in completion percentage 5 out of 6, something like that years. He was great. Steve Young was incredible. It's a shame that he really didn't get to see that in Tampa Bay. Pat Tillman moving on for the Arizona Cardinals. I personally think, it would be nice to see Pat Tillman back in the game, simply because of the Madden 20 stuff with Pat Tillman, and also because, another person that lost his life because of sad reasons, this time fighting in the Afghanistan war. So rest in peace. Second last one, we're going with Jack Youngblood, another Hall of Famer. Pro Bowl, 5-time All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year. Considerably was probably the best player on that defensive line that had Deacon Jones and some other guy. I can't remember the rest of that defensive line. Were known as the Terrible Foursome or the Trouble, whatever they were. They had a really cool nickname. But yeah, Jack Youngblood, really, really great player. Would love to see him for Madden 23's Team Diamond. And lastly, for my Seahawks, we're going to go with Steve Largent. Again, a lot of great years for the Seahawks. Played basically his entire career with them from 1976 to 1989. One of the greatest receivers of the late 70s and basically the entire 80s. Was, I believe, put to the all 80s decade team. Won the 1988 Walter Payton Man of the Year, if that means anything to you guys. Was an All-Pro selection. Was a 7-time All-Pro. 7-time Pro Bowler. He was a multi-time second-team All-Pro. 4-time second-team All-Pro. Constant, some good double-digit touchdown years, some good receiving yards, but yeah, I would like to see Steve Largent in the game for the Seahawks team, please. But for that, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, hit the like button below and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. With that, I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.